Hello and welcome to Policy and Politics with me, Tarun Nagia. It's been over a year now that we are all into the COVID era or the Corona era. And we all know oxygen concentrators are very essential product in these times. A lot of people who then never got these oxygen cylinders initially relied on oxygen concentrators. But it is very unfortunate that black marketing, hoarding, and also, in a sense, so much of profiteering which we never imagined is happening. Even courts have raised suspicion about how this is going on, and the executive should now get into action on this. So the question that we are asking today is it now become necessary to notify oxygen concentrators on the one hand, pulse oximeters, and even thermometers under the Essential Commodities Act? Because we are seeing never before seen profiteering. Their news has also reached our ears that oxygen concentrators were sold for as high as 2,50,000 rupees, which was barely a fraction of that amount. Now, how is a lot of people that live in India going to afford such amounts? Will the courts play a role in bringing this issue to action and some actionable points by maybe directing the executive to do something? We will discuss this today. I have a very eminent panel. I have with me Justice M.M. Kumar, who joins me on the show. I have with me Senior Advocate Parag Tripathi, who joins me on the show. I have Senior Advocate Pinky Anand, who joins me on the show today. Thank you all of you for sparing time and joining me on Policy and Politics. I will request Senior Advocate Parag Tripathi to lay the ground first. Please, Mr. Tripathi.
As we all know, we have now suffered at least two full-blown waves, whether it is three or four, that's a point of irrelevance, but two full-fledged waves. And the second wave, at least in Delhi, has been extremely excruciating for us. I, for one, do not know a single family which has not lost someone very precious to him or her. That's the story throughout the city of Delhi. Which brings us to the question as to how to deal with people who are suffering from this terrible disease. And the big option which arises is how to avoid going to a hospital, because as a COVID patient, the whole protocol is very different from the protocol you face as a usual patient, because you're cut off and it's only your mobile phone which is your source of communication. Therefore, in-house treatment and in-house various devices which can help alleviate the disease become of crucial importance. And one of the most crucial things is the oxygen concentrator, the oximeter, and even, as Tarun was saying, the thermometer. But the prices, of course, have gone up. We have seen of oximeters, but of oxygen concentrators and medical grade oxygen have gone up alarmingly. They are just not available. I, for one, have applied at 3 different places because of various friends and relatives keep on asking, and we always live in perpetual fear that we might need it ourselves. And in each of the places, I have paid the full amount, which was not as astronomical as Tarun pointed out of 2.5 lakhs, but 70,000 to 1,10,000. And on each of the 3 occasions, and these are otherwise good establishments, we haven't got the delivery. So the question then arises that when we feel that there is a perceived inability of the system to come up with the answers, we then look at the courts. Now the question arises as to what is the way forward? How should the courts deal with the matter? And in particular, the question which is engaging the attention of everyone, can the powers under the Essential Commodities Act be used to bring a modicum of equity in this whole business of availability and acquisition of quality devices at prices which are broadly reasonable?
Okay. Point critical. I'll go to Senior Advocate Pinky Anand. Ma'am, your comment on this issue as well as your opening comment.
Tarun, I think you've touched the very raw nerve of the cord of the people, because today, as Parag rightly said, I mean, each and every family is affected. We are all dealing every day with some bereavement in one family or the other, and it is affecting one so acutely. We've gone through a period of, from March 2020, we are right now in May 2021, and we don't know how long this entire epidemic situation is going to last. What we do need is obviously healthcare. I mean, there's no question of each and every person having a right, a fundamental right to health and to healthcare. Now, there is an issue of scarcity for sure, and there is an issue of pricing. I mean, ultimately means as it is because of the pandemic, economic life is being affected drastically. So, what yesterday possibly would have been something like some kind of luxury item, possibly, has today become a necessity for survival, and has become necessity as a healthcare device. Now, under the law as it stands, the government can declare any healthcare commodity or any healthcare item as an essential care. And if that happens, then there are penal consequences that follow, unlike the civil consequences that might follow with other issues. So you have penal consequences that can follow and will follow. So that is the real question that is addressing us today. One, how can we do it so that you have availability of oxygen concentrators and oximeters, the two items that you mentioned, and you take the similar phase for sanitizers and masks. Now, we as a government, we did limit the price of those by declaring them as essential commodities. And that made a dramatic difference. If you remember the times when each of these items was also being sold at fairly high costing, it went up to, for example, sanitizers. Even though their market price was 250, it would go up to 1,000, it would go up to 1,500, depending wherever you went. So similarly, you have the situation where not only as you said, that you really need to have healthcare at home, it has become a matter of requirement, not only as an alternative to hospitals, but because you are having scarcity of COVID beds, and not only the difficulties of COVID treatment, but the fact that you need and you can possibly be monitored and sustained at home. It becomes good for you as well as the family and for everybody surrounding you. So
Point well,
considering all these, yes.
point well taken. Before going to Justice M.M. Kumar, I will have to point out today I had a discussion with someone who said that he was sold these oxygen concentrators at 1,70,000 a piece. And there are customers at this astronomical price. People are buying because people are not getting. And when people get, people are forced to pay. Now, the point is that whatever your economic strata doesn't make a difference. This is the amount you have to cough up to get. Now, how many people can pay that kind of money is the point. Uh, Justice M.M. Kumar, you've heard Senior Advocate Parag Tripathi, Senior
Yeah,
Advocate K. Anand. Your opening comment.
very well, Tarun, thank you very much. The pandemic situation, as we all know, has consumed many precious lives. Like person like Dr. Agarwal, K.K. Agarwal, who has been educating all of us. He is gone. Some time ago, I heard that Chief Justice A.B. Saharia is no more. Judge's wife, Justice Patnaik's wife is gone. Justice Singh's wife is no more. So these are very precious lives. To produce a judge, to produce a doctor of the eminence of Dr. Agarwal, you require 30, 40 years. No, 30, 40 years, those talented people, and these are the people whom we know. How many professors have died? Aligarh Muslim University, Banaras Hindu University, Punjab University, so many talented people are being consumed by this pandemic. So there cannot be any doubt that all these items which are life-saving items, including concentrator or oximeter. I remember in Srinagar, when I was Chief Justice, my mother fell ill. Concentrator, I have to purchase a concentrator. That was only for 35,000 rupees. It was not more than 35,000 because there was no scarcity in the market. And there were 3 types available. I could choose any one. So the type of price which Tarun has quoted, I think it is, you see, mind-boggling. And the common man is dying because of lack of oxygen, particularly in Delhi. But what we have seen, horrible. These things, I think all the loopholes in the law needs to be plugged, and under the Constitution, under Article 21, all these rights are already protected, and if any further protection is required, I think there is no dearth of law to grant that type of protection.
So you've spoken that protection should be granted, and we are all looking at the courts now, because the executives in this issue, at least there has been no movement. The Essential Commodities Act provides also that medical devices can be brought under price control. Now these are extraordinary circumstances. These are not circumstances. The Delhi High Court, as we all know, has played a stellar role on the count of issue related to corona patients. And Delhi High Court, in a sense, has been a leading light. A lot of courts, in a sense, have taken inspiration from what Delhi High Court has done. Its work is now being discussed all over the country, wherever we speak. Do you think on this issue also there could be some intervention, or there ought to be some? I'll go to Senior Advocate Parag Tripathi for this.
See, Tarun, there are 2 or 3 things. One, of course, right to health and affordable treatment is part of fundamental rights. It's been so held. More importantly, the good news is, as you rightly said, that the definition of essential commodity under Section 2A of the Act has a schedule. That schedule contains the word drugs, but drugs is not the commonsensical meaning. The drugs meaning has been given under the Drugs Act, which includes devices. And as far back as on 11th of February 2020, a notification was issued which said that all devices which diagnose, prevent, monitor, treat, or alleviate any disease, alleviate or assistance from a disease. So it squarely would cover things like oxygen concentrators, things like oximeters, etc. Because they will either alleviate or they will certainly assist in treatment or in supporting or sustaining life. So these devices are in. All that is required is to issue a notification under Section 3 and fix the 2 things which are very important: quality, so that you don't get substandard stuff, and the price. And once that is done, it's on. Because unfortunately, in law as it stands, and of course, I have the distinguished Chief Justice Kumar Sahab and Pinky, who's been the former Additional Solicitor General of India. As far as law stands, law does not penalize such greed which is not illegal. So that's the difference between law and morality. Morality penalizes it, law doesn't. But once you make this a law with a 7-year penal term, then things become totally different. So all that has to be done is to issue a notification under Section 3, because everything else is in place.
That's precisely the point, that law is currently not stopping this sale at these astronomical prices. I'll go to Ma'am Pinky Anand. Ma'am, if this thing has to get done, A, how can the courts take it up? B, can the executive on its own volition now do it, since there is a lot of groundswell of news that people are really being troubled?
No, you're right, Tarun. The question is not that the executive cannot do it, not that the executive is not in a position to do it. It is not entitled or authorized under law to do it. It is. And frankly, if you go for a minute, for example, GST waiver on concentrators and I don't know on oximeters, but concentrators in particular, the GST was waived by a notification. So the question of looking at the difficulty of people and what they need, and essential devices such as the concentrator and oximeter, something which is very much there on the minds of the executive, as much as, of course, courts are also looking at it. Frankly, I'll tell you this, that the point is, whatever needs to be done to help people or to alleviate their miseries, whether it is by providing them medical supplies or whether it is other means, one has to ensure that that process happens. As we all said at the beginning, this pandemic is not going in a hurry. It is there for some time to stay. And you have it across status. Some people may be able to afford it, but a majority cannot afford such phenomenal costing. They can't even afford the hospital, and there is difficulty in space. So for survival, today it's a question of survival, really speaking. So life-saving survival, if each of these criteria is taken into account, definitely the executive has the powers, and definitely the executive is in a fashion considering some of the issues that are concerned. So we hope that at some point of time soon, this issue would be dealt with appropriately. And whatever the courts are doing, they're only helping and edging these processes along so that this entire process gets to a position where it facilitates people in desperate need of healthcare, fundamental right, statutory right, call it what you like, but the point is we have to live.
We heard Senior Advocate Pinky Anand sharing with us that the executive will have to get it done. It can also, the initiative can also come from the courts. I'll go to Justice M.M. Kumar. Sir, if you see, there has been news reports, now enough news reports about how people are in trouble and how there is a provision in law to control the price. what is the missing link you see that this is not happening when huge amount of profiteering is going on? There have been cases of GST evasion because as far as I understand, unless you're bringing concentrators for charity, there is no GST exemption. If you're bringing it to sell, you have to pay. Correct me if I'm wrong. I reserve a right to be wrong. This is what but I'll have to check up. But sir, given the fact, do you think that now time has come that at least the Supreme Court on its own volition should take it up? Or would you appeal to them as such that at least till the pandemic rages, we need some sort of a protection?
Very well, Tarun. In fact, one way is what Mr. Tripathi has opined. There is hardly any room for doubt for that course of action. And in fact, Delhi High Court in its order has asked the government to go ahead and have asked why, what is restraining it, what is stopping it from doing it. So under Section 3 of the Essential Commodities Act, once a notification is issued and then holding, black marketing or exceeding the limits of storage would become an offense under Section 7, punishable under Section 7, and the punishment is minimum 3 months and it can go up to 7 years. So that can be a deterrent. And one part of that government has tried to cover. On 15th of May, an office memorandum has been issued by the Ministry of Chemical and Fertilizer, Department of Pharmaceutical. They have issued this notification under the Essential Commodities Act as maximum retail price of medical devices. There is a ordinance under that this notification has been issued. All the concentrator suppliers have been asked to furnish details and the maximum MRP. This is in pursuance of the direction issued by Honorable Delhi High Court. So I think Delhi High Court is already at it. And if now the question is whether by virtue of constitutional mandate under Article 21, can the High Court on its own declare such, make such a declaration that oxygen concentrator, oximeter, thermometer, or other essential items, which are life-saving items in a situation of this nature, would be considered as essential commodity under Section 3. And there, you see, when I was Chief Justice Jammu and Kashmir, the floods in September 2014 raised the Srinagar city, and large number of insurance claims were filed. So the question before me was, in the makeshift High Court, I had to organize a makeshift High Court in the house of a High Court judge, which was lying vacant. And Honorable Governor permitted me that course. Notification was issued and the High Court started functioning from that building. Now the issue was whether I should wait for the report, surveyor reports, and then start awarding the compensation, or by rule of thumb as an immediate relief I could give something. All the judgments were against it, that courts will not grant any compensation without having surveyor report, because there could not be any assessment. How much loss has been caused? So I took an extraordinary step by passing a judgment saying that 50% of the insured amount be paid without waiting for the report of the surveyor. Now, this judgment was against the wall of authorities, but the necessity was to rehabilitate those. And what I added a rider. What was the rider? That in case amount paid by the insurance company exceeds the insured amount, the property which is under insurance would remain under lien, so that the insurance company may recover. SLB filed, the Honorable Chief Justice of India visited Srinagar, he saw the condition, SLB dismissed, that order became final. And the result was large number of local people were rehabilitated.
Point well taken. So what you mean to say that under these
That-
circumstances, court can go one step ahead.
You see, but the impediment in the present scenario is we have Article 21 of the 20 of the Constitution. Article 20, sub-article 1, which say ex post facto law. The courts, high courts or Supreme Court would be very reluctant to declare it as an essential commodity and make it an offense under sub.
Okay.
That is, see, under Article 20, you cannot have ex post facto law, the offenses which is not an offense on the date when it is that action is committed. Then it may be very, very ambitious proposition for any judge to take up, because Article 20 will come in way, and criminal law by judicial legislations are rarely made.
Your point taken. I'll go to Senior Advocate Parag Tripathi. So you think this can be done with what Justice M.M. Kumar says? You think the courts can do it forward tomorrow or day after?
Yes, not only that, there's one very interesting news which is just coming through, that the Union of India in its counter affidavit or affidavit which they filed in the Delhi High Court have said that they will come out with a formula for determining the price of concentrators within the next 7 days. Because as Chief Justice Kumar would know, and my distinguished friend Pinky Anand would know, that what courts normally do to remain on the right side of the principles of law and the division of powers is, instead of saying that we are passing a mandamus, which, as rightly said, the courts would not like to do, they will ask that please get an affidavit signed by the Chief Secretary or the Secretary Health as to what do you propose to do, which is equally effective. Because every time you don't have to do the obvious, a good indication works as well. So it has worked here again. Delhi High Court utilized this about 2 days back. And now the news is saying that the central government has filed an affidavit saying within a week, the formula would be there. So I think things are happening. What Justice Kumar was saying is happening.
Yes, yes.
That's point very well. Senior Advocate Pinky Anand, your comment.
See, as I said, I'm very clear on one fundamental, that health and liberty and security and welfare of people needs no boundaries of any kind. I do know, and I'm conscious of the fact, as Parag has pointed out, that the government is actively considering most of these issues. But the question is the timely action because of the circumstances. So whatever processes happen in this direction, and definitely our courts, though very active, also restrain themselves in ultimately passing the final orders. So one would hope and one would expect that necessary action is taken by all of us in the right direction. And I'm sure the people would be very grateful for this timely action taken by the government, not only for the determination of price, but also fixing a ceiling on the pricing, because it is an essential life care and life-saving device as far as both concentrators are concerned and oximeter is concerned. So we are only hoping that this action is taken at the earliest. GST exemptions, etc., also as you mentioned, it may be for one limited aspect, but GST exemption had been given as far as concentrators for self-use are concerned. So the bottom line is access and availability and saving of lives.
Point well taken. People across classes are crying for relief. They are looking at the courts. And I can't help but say that Delhi High Court and the role it has played, in a sense, shows direction of how, when judiciary starts to nudge the executive into action, it actually helps. And in a country like India, the democracy like India, it helps many times. The executive may also go wrong. It needs the push of the court. That's how it is in India. And that's why we all look to Delhi High Court at least to see what it does on this issue in the coming days. But be that as it may, I'd like to thank Justice M.M. Kumar, Senior Advocate Parag Tripathi, Senior Advocate Pinky Anand, all of you for sparing time at a short notice and joining me for this conversation. I hope the viewers also would like this. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.